Once upon a time, in a dense and ancient forest hidden far from human eyes, there was a clever young fox named Fennel. Fennel was no ordinary fox, for he was born with the rare and secret gift of speech. This wasn't something he flaunted. Instead, he guarded it as his most precious secret, speaking only to those who seemed trustworthy and pure of heart. One autumn morning, as the leaves turned golden and the air smelled of pine, Fennel came across a young girl named Willer who was lost in the woods. Willer was sitting on a mossy rock, her cheeks tear-streaked, clutching her little knapsack. Fennel had watched her from the shadows, noting how she never picked the flowers or disturbed the nests, but instead walked with quiet wonder through the forest. Seeing her distress, Fennel decided to reveal his secret. Clearing his throat with a soft cough, Fennel stepped out from the brush and said, "Excuse me, miss. Are you lost?" Willer's eyes widened as she looked down to see a fox, not just speaking but speaking in a voice warm and gentle. At first, she thought she must be dreaming, but then Fennel's voice reached her again. "I assure you, you're awake," he said with a twinkle in his eye. "Now, would you like a bit of help finding your way home?" Willer nodded slowly, still too stunned to speak, but feeling somehow comforted by this strange, talking fox. As they walked together, Fennel explained that the forest was alive with secrets and stories, ones that humans rarely saw. "I keep them safe," he explained. "The old trees, the hidden burrows, and all the creatures of the wood, they know me, and I know them." They walked for hours, with Fennel telling Willer stories of the forest, how the ancient owl, Old Sage, knew the phases of the moon better than any clock, and how the secret stream, if you listened closely, hummed with the songs of the seasons. Just as twilight began to fall, they reached a river crossing. Fennel stopped and looked at her kindly. "Beyond this river is the path home," he said. "But if you cross it, you'll forget our conversations. Only those who stay in the forest can remember. Are you ready?" Willer hesitated, her heart tugging in two directions. She didn't want to forget her friend or the wonder of the forest. But she missed her family and knew they must be worried. "Thank you, Fennel," as she said, kneeling down to scratch him behind his ears. "For everything. And with a tearful smile, she crossed the river, feeling a strange tingle as she stepped across. As she reached the other side, she turned back to wave, but found she could no longer see Fennel. She blinked in confusion. All she saw was a fox, sitting quietly, watching her with curious eyes. Though Willer returned to her family and grew up, she always felt a special connection to the forest. And every so often, when she wandered its trails, she'd catch a flash of red fur darting behind a tree or hear a soft voice on the wind, whispering tales that lingered, faint and magical, at the edge of her memory.